Welcome everyone to HueFin. Today is November the 5th, 2019. Here to give you all the news according to the charts and talk about this article for Cardano and how Charles Hoskinson is saying that Cardano is making hay slowly, but the Shelley Testnet incentivized testnet launch, the snapshot, is most likely to occur on November 12th, 2019. So, is the Shelley Testnet launch confirmed? And will the price break out for Cardano? We'll talk about that on this video right here. Thank you all for coming to our channel. Appreciate y'all taking out the small opportunity out to watch this video. If y'all appreciate it, hit that subscribe button, like and share these videos. Join us on our Twitter page, Facebook, our website, HueFinancial.com. We got a lot of news all over the place. And if you want to stay in tune with what we're seeing on these price charts, definitely make sure you go ahead and subscribe to all of those locations. All right. So we're going to talk about this article right here on the right side of the screen, uploaded to the internet today, fresh off the presses, talking about the snapshot for Shelley is to occur on November 12th. Now, this snapshot is required in order to have the Shelley incentivized testnet fully to come out. Okay, they're going to take a snapshot of all of the ADA tokens that's in the network on the protocol to make sure that prior to the testnet launch, that everything else, if anything goes crazy or awry, they have something to fall back on to replace the errors that can come through on the testnet. Okay, so Charles Hoskinson, which is the CEO of IOHK, said that October has been a month packed with action that could enable the first snapshot for the Shelley incentivized testnet to happen as early as November 12th. Positive news on that aspect. 2 weeks after his surprise AMA video on YouTube, Hoskinson went back on YouTube to deliver more details about the upcoming incentivized testnet for Shelley. Now, the network testnet release was in October, and on that testnet launch in October, IOHK learned a lot. They have dealt with an enormous amount of bugs in the code. Cardano saw around 20 releases in the previous month alone, all of which saw the issues or the bugs that users brought to light within that testnet. So it was a lot of bugs that came into the testnet launch, which is its purpose. You're supposed to try to catch as many errors, as many bugs as possible to eliminate the prospect of being hacked or even losing some of your ADA tokens. So they caught some. I guess 20 releases from the previous month alone tried to patch up all of those bugs that they found, and prior to the snapshot they try to grab as many of those bugs as possible. Now, Hoskinson said that an average of about 3 releases was put out every week for the past month, and that the commits to Cardano's code were made every 30 minutes across the Cardano team. So there's a plethora of activity going on for this protocol in Cardano. Very positive to see that play out, that they got a massive community of engineers, coders who are working on this particular protocol to make sure that prior to the actual launch that they can minimize as many errors as possible. So what I mean by commits, those are actual individuals who's working on the code to try to make it better, try to eliminate some of the bugs. And that's the same thing with the releases. All these are terminology that's found on the GitHub website. Now, while the company wanted to create an environment that would enable staking, they didn't expect to see such a vibrant ecosystem of people running stake pools as a service to develop on the testnet. So they're getting a lot of receptive individuals, communities of people waiting to dive on into these staking pools so that they can earn as many ADA tokens as possible. Now, he also went on to say that they were focused on keeping the network testnet as stable as possible to make sure that everyone experiences a good user experience. Now, Cardano's team was faced with a very tough decision. And Charles expanded on that, saying that there was a big internal discussion going on, and it was on how to do the actual testnet snapshot. Now, he said that, I guess from those internal discussions, that the team would go through with 2 separate network snapshots, one for the testing and then another one for the actual deployment on the network. Okay. The argument for having a dry run is that it will enable any and all bugs that arise to be resolved before the incentivized testnet officially launches. So they're going to do a dry run. So again, that tells you that there's still some doubt in IOHK and the individuals who are developing this protocol, that so much so that they wanted to do a dry run before they actually released the incentivized testnet, which, I mean, depending on which side of the fence you're on, is a positive thing that they're being very precautionary, and it can be a negative thing because maybe they're uneasy as to what can really happen once the incentivized testnet officially launches. So it just depends on you. Now, in that case, the network will run for about a week or 2 to allow users to get comfortable with the testnet and get socialized, talking about it, get to use the actual protocol to see how it feels. Now, once all the issues are fixed and all the conditions for the real testnet are fulfilled, that's when the trial version will be shut down, and then the real incentivized testnet will be launched. Now, obviously, the actual Shelley Testnet has not been confirmed, but the trial snapshot has been, most likely to happen around November 12th. So you can kind of put that into perspective as to when the actual Shelley incentivized testnet will be launched. We got about half midpoint to get the trial snapshot, and then depending on this dry run, if they have resolved many of the issues relatively quickly, then Shelley incentivized testnet should be launched sooner than later. Now, Charles did steer away from actually setting a fixed date for the launch. He noted that delays could happen, which is why the company still isn't confident enough to set a definitive schedule, because more than likely they're holding out because they see issues ahead. Now, I'm going to go ahead and leave this article, the link to it, in the description of this video, so you guys can go ahead and check it out if you want to continue to read more upon the snapshot, the Shelley incentivized testnet launch, and the Haskell code that they replaced from the original code on their Dalius wallet. All right, so Haskell is now on the back end of that wallet. But for us, our focus is on the price chart. So we're going to go ahead and talk about, will price follow the testnet launch of Shelley? Meaning, will we see higher prices? Let's talk about it. So now, in all honesty, this is what happened in the market for Cardano since our last video. And as you can tell, we did our last video on the 3rd of November. We were seeing indications of weakness coming to the market, but the market definitely went against our forecast, and it happens. So this would have been a loss for us in the market in Cardano. Hopefully you all were able to see where that loss occurred and where the change happened in the market for Cardano, and it was right here on this particular 3-hour bar. This 2-hour bar. This is where it would have drawn our attention, okay, that we need to pay a little bit more attention into the market in Cardano, of it moving against our forecast. And we only had an overall loss of about 1.17%, but in all fairness, we probably would have gotten out somewhere around this particular vicinity right there. So it probably been about a 2% loss in the market in Cardano. Okay, so yes, that was a loss forecast for us of about 2.05%. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. But for us, we always move on and look for the next opportunity. And right now, the market in Cardano is showing some positivity, movement higher. We are seeing an increase in volume today, and we're closing off the highs. I don't like to see that play out in the market in Cardano. Okay, and you can tell already that this particular vicinity is where the market is finding some resistance. I'll give you a nice clean number, 4.5 cents. It's where the market in Cardano is finding some resistance. 4-hour chart, again, still getting some of that indications of market weakness. We are seeing some individuals in the market that is falling victim of expecting Cardano to continue to see higher prices. And this 4.5 cent level is where the market is hung up at in order to see some higher prices. The weekly price chart in Cardano, we're still looking pretty good into the market. I would bring your attention to this 4.5 cent price. That is a huge resistance area into the market, but the weekly time frame is looking pretty good right now as a snapshot of Cardano seeing higher prices. Okay, so again, I am feeling positive into the market for Cardano to continue to see progression a little bit higher, especially in the long term, from a weekly to a monthly perspective. So again, we confirm that the market in Cardano right now is showing us more strength and weakness for the simple fact that it was able to close above our support area. Well, it was acting as resistance yesterday. Now going forward, it needs to be support. Okay, so we're going to play with this into the market in Cardano. Let's bring this in a little closer, and we will TP the market in Cardano. Let me see. Around that 0.0458 price level. Okay, not much, but again, definitely need to keep our eyes open onto the market in the long term in Cardano. Okay, so this is our expectations right here. We're expecting the market in Cardano to continue to see a progression movement higher, especially as we get closer to that Shelley snapshot and the Shelley incentivized testnet. I would definitely expect us to see a movement to the upside in price. All right, so give us your thoughts, your opinion, leave us a comment in the comment section of this video, and as always, make sure you all maintain your profitability, and I'll see you all on the next one.